On today's show, we visit the farmers market at Rye Tavern, learn about Whale Dolphin Conservation, look forward with the Kingston COA, hear original work from poet Lisa Sullivan, and take a look at what's happening in our area. We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Located in South Plymouth, the farmers market at Rye Tavern is a source for fresh produce, locally sourced products, and a sense of community. We went on the local scene to see what makes this market a local treasure.
So I actually am the farmer here at the Rye Tavern. This is my 16th year here at the Rye. We have loosely done farmers markets here and there, little pop-ups, nothing to this extent. But it's something that we've done in the past, and so it just fit in with the farm-to-table scheme at the restaurant.
I feel like when people initially hear 11 to 2 on a Monday, they're like, why would you waste your time doing that? But I do feel like with the location and the people in the Pine Hills, the people in the area, I feel like it's almost like their own personal farmer's market, if you will. And it's a good way to start the week and kind of just get all your ingredients for your dinner or whatever you're cooking for the week for the family.
I love seeing people who care about where their food comes from, where their soap comes from, buy soap that doesn't come in a wrapper, things like that, buy food that doesn't come in a wrapper. So it's just very important to me to be part of something where everyone is like-minded, the people who shop here and the people who work here.
I think a farmer's market is a perfect place where people gather in a community, just representative of the local economy and artists. I don't think there's anything more important than supporting local artisans. I think we live in an age in which we're seeing a bit of a backlash in terms of what big business can do and then where it falls short. I think that investing in your local artisans not only highlights and gives value to the work that they do and the passions and efforts they've cultivated over time, their skills over time, but it's an investment in the local economy. Every dollar you spend in your community is then paid forward through employees, through the vendors, to stimulate the local economy. You're not sending your money elsewhere. It's not an unknown entity. In fact, you're supporting your neighbor, the person down the road. And I think the more we can do that, the more we contribute to building the type of community, healthy community that we want for ourselves and others.
A salsa verde that's a little more on the mild side. This is my second summer doing the Rye Tavern market. I think every year it kind of gets a little bigger, a little better, and we just try to improve on the things that we can improve upon, and just get better every day, yeah.
Now what we've done is serving lunch and having the bar open at the same time as the market, and it's just been a really great partnership, and it's worked out really well. Not only do we have many community partners here every week, we also have 2 business sponsors from right here locally in the Pine Hills. Cape Cod 5 sponsors our children's programming, and Rowan and Bizzuto sponsor our cooking demos. And it's been really important to have those extra funds to really put on some quality programmings that keeps the community coming back. Especially our children's programs, just with our local authors coming, and we see a lot of the same kids coming every week and enjoying story time.
One of the main things that the bank does is community involvement. It's our community, our employees, and our customers. So we take pride in getting involved in the community and really letting our local folks shine and get to know those players out there and support the things that are so meaningful to our Plymouth community.
So with Rowan, we're the apartment community opening up on the Village Green, and we wanted to be just a part of the local community with the Pine Hills, support our local vendors, and then just be able to tell people more about our building that's being built in the center. I have met so many amazing vendors through our sponsorships that I can't wait to bring some of them on to our own resident events when we open. So it's been so fun this summer.
I think it's a very intimate market. I think in its size and scope, it just feels like a big hug in terms of the setup here just flowing through.
It's definitely a family here. It definitely becomes that because of Melissa. Like the minute you pull in as a vendor, you feel valued. It's not just the customers feeling valued, it's all of us, and I think that makes a really big difference. I encourage all my friends to come down if they're working from home or can get the day off to come to the bar and sit outside and have a drink and have a burger and shop. It's just a wonderful community, relaxed vibe. I love it.
The interactions I have with our customers bring me incredible joy. They're just, we're talking about sharing things that inspire, that make us curious, things that excite us or represent our interests. I feel very lucky to be in that business. And that's kind of why I'm in it. We really are aspiring to build a community-centric business, a place where people can gather, exchange ideas, share in something that brings them joy and curiosity and inspiration.
I do have an online presence, but I really do the bulk of my business talking to people. I love the schmoozing and talking and people coming. I'm not gonna lie, I love people coming and saying, "Oh, that's so cool." It's very reinforcing.
I love everything about this. I actually love hearing people's stories. So especially with what I sell, it's very healing. Bone broth is healing, and therefore a lot of our customers, they might have celiac disease or gluten or SIBO or arthritis or just terrible inflammation. And so when I talk to them and learn that drinking this, eating food from the market is helpful to them, and getting to know these people, and they become family and customers, and they follow you around to other markets, it's really fun. It's definitely the people.
I do love doing this. I've been doing this for many, many years. I have a great support system in all of our vendors. I'm so proud of them, and I'm proud to offer them a space and help represent them in the community.
To learn more about the Farmers Market at Rye Tavern, check out the market's Facebook page. The Phil is back for its 108th season. Join the Plymouth Philharmonic and conductor Stephen Kyriadis on September 30th for a night of awe-inspiring musical entertainment. Selections will include a suite from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, set to Sergei Prokofiev's Grammy-winning piece, Ellis Island, The Dream of America. Actors Marianne Leone and Ed Hoopman will accompany the performance with readings of the true life stories of 7 immigrants who came to this country to create a new life. To enhance your orchestral experience, the Phil is also offering a pre-concert cocktail party and conversation with conductor Stephen Kyriadis. To purchase tickets, visit plymouthphil.org. The Art Complex Museum is excited to announce Unsettled Pieces, a brand new exhibit featuring the work of local artists Deborah Aldo, Lisa Sullivan, and Annabella Wooer, consisting of mosaic artwork exploring issues that impact our planet. Using upcycled and found objects, each artist created artwork exploring issues that impact our planet. The Art Complex Museum is open from 1 to 4 Wednesdays through Sundays. For more information, visit artcomplex.org. Next up is local poet Lisa Sullivan in a reading of her original work.
Ladies and gentlemen, our last poet this afternoon is Lisa Sullivan. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
I wasn't expecting to read today, so I went on a mad dash on my phone to try to look up poems that are on journals or whatnot. And I find that a lot of them have changed since then because we never stop editing, which I find. Miriam? I live in Plymouth, and I am a writer, editor, and poetry instructor. And I do tend to stick to themes. I write a lot about my dad, who was a disabled veteran, and he was killed by a drunk driver. He was a pedestrian when he was 41. A difficult man to live with, but very difficult to reconcile what happened to him. And I also write about what I call the childless mother, which is a female who wants to be a mom, but for whatever reason didn't get the chance. And I've got a little mixture of both here. And I never read from my phone, so please forgive me while I struggle here. I always have paper, which I find a lot easier. Okay, this is My Father Drew Maps. My father drew maps to nowhere, complete with rivers, roads, swirls of elevation. I think to him, a disabled Marine veteran, they were a destination to somewhere beyond the front door he could no longer open. The maps were never painted, never inked. He always drew them in pencil, and he would erase, erase, erase. I think I'll just go back and forth here. This one is called Nesting Season, and some of you may be familiar with the local poet Kevin McClellan. Pretty fabulous poet. And this is after a line by Kevin. We are all birds looking for treetops. And the title again is Nesting Season. You forage and return to the treetop. Despite its tapering to an impossible thinness, you think, this twig will hold me. You think, sway, although you feel no wind because you have become wind. Your feather drops. A swallow carries it to her full nest. Your nest, eggless. From the treetop, your tender warble carries into somebody's dusk. Asks, will my song be enough? Will my song be enough? This one's called My Brother Named His Sons After Our Father, or maybe after the idea of a father. I asked him why, and he, 18 months younger, perhaps not recalling as much, perhaps being more forgiving, wondered what I meant. Don't you remember everything he did to us? He thought for a moment and answered, don't you? I don't think I can find it. I'm so sorry. I was going to read 350s, another one about my brother, but I'm sorry. It's gone. It's in the wind now. Thank you.
Bird Gardner lives a quiet life with his father, a linguist turned librarian who works at the university library stocking bookshelves. His life is calm, with only one hole of mystery. Bird's mother, a Chinese-American poet whose work has been banned, has disappeared without a trace. After receiving a mysterious letter consisting only of a cryptic drawing, Bird determines this is the clue that will help him find his mother. This sets the plot for Celeste Ng's novel, Our Missing Hearts, a New York Times bestseller and the topic of this month's book discussion at the Kingston Public Library on September 19th from 6 to 7 p.m. Books are available on audio CD, regular and large print at the circulation desk. For more information, visit the library's website. A storytelling initiative that asks fiction writers to imagine the next 180 years of climate progress, Imagine 2200, Climate Fiction for Future Ancestors, aims to envision a world of abundance, resilience, reform, and hope. On September 27th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., join Tori Stevens of Grist Magazine for a virtual program discussing how this initiative over the course of 3 years has encouraged over 3,000 story submissions from writers from around the world. To register for your Zoom link, go to the Plymouth Public Library website. As the bustling capital of India, New Delhi is a cosmopolitan city rich in multicultural and multi-ethnic influences and architectural wonders. On September 29th at 12 p.m., leave the passport at home and skip the security line at the Pembroke Council on Aging for Armchair Travels, New Delhi. A light lunch will be served as you are immersed in the sights and culture of this enchanting city. To register, call the COA at 781-294-8220. On this installment of Looking Forward with our senior centers, Julie Thompson discusses the importance and impact of volunteers with Mary Beth Lawton, Director of Elder Affairs for the town of Kingston, and Kingston COA volunteer Lucy Coletta.
I'm so pleased to welcome today two fine ladies to our set. We have Mary Beth Lawton, who is the Director of Elder Affairs in Kingston for the COA, and a volunteer, Lucy Coletta. Thank you both for joining us. Lucy, we'll get to you in a little while, okay?
Thank you.
We're going to start with you, Mary Beth. And how did you get to be the Director of Elder Affairs here in Kingston? What brought you to this moment?
I've had a number of years' experience doing this. So I'd been up on the North Shore, and I saw the Hamilton Council on Aging through its bout of COVID. And like so many other Council on Aging directors at that time, we retired. We were burned out. A lot of people did at that time. You saw a big shift. And I went into private industry, and I realized how much I missed my seniors. I missed being around them. I missed the motivation of being around them. I missed their laughter and the way that they look at life, and I knew I needed that. So I applied for a few positions and got offered some and decided that I was going to take Kingston up on their offer. And I've been there, I'll be there 1 year as of July 18th.
So how many years altogether have you been in this field?
Almost 20.
Almost 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen a lot of changes.
Oh,
You've seen a lot
yes.
of trends. There's a lot you can talk about.
Can I tell you one trend that hasn't changed? It's
Sure.
really interesting. Aging in place. From the time I attended my first Mass Council on Aging annual conference, we started talking back then about aging in place and how important it was and what it meant and how we had to respond and what that was going to be all about. And here we are, nearly 20 years later, still talking about how to do it better.
And for people that don't understand what that aging in place means, how do you define that?
So the older we get, we have issues, cognitive issues, we have physical issues, we have family issues, and so perhaps the circumstance is one where you need to consider where the best place is for you to be. Is it in your home? Do you adapt your home to make it possible for you to be able to live there? That's what aging in place is, that you have the structure in place, you have the support in place, and you have the ability to adapt your home to meet your particular needs for as long as you possibly can. It's the way we live. It's the way we thrive, and that's why so much of what we've been trying to do is to teach people what it is they need to be able to stay in their own home while they're growing old.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about the programs that are offered. And I know Council on Aging everywhere now offer a huge amount of programs.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it in terms of three different kind of categories. Services you offer.
Right.
Enrichment and education.
Yep.
And then socialization.
Right.
So as far as services, what types of services?
So we work in conjunction with Old Colony Elderly Services, and we do Meals on Wheels. We provide weekly congregate lunches. We're currently doing box lunches. Phil also does a special meal for us a couple different times a month because he's a cordon bleu trained chef, so he's got to show off and show us. Yeah, a couple months ago, what did we have? That crab cake on the bed of vegetables and rice pilaf with a hollandaise and oh yeah, no, this was just
very
amazing.
Nice.
So our services are working in conjunction with our area agency on aging, which is Old Colony Elderly Service. They also happen to be our ASAP as well. The second one that you were talking about was for the enrichment
and education.
So the education piece is kind of interesting. I've done two things. We started a program when I began back last July called Brunch and Learn. And that was fun. That very first one that we did was inviting Elevated Roots to our senior center. Yep. Because
or cannabis, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yep. And it was because up on the North Shore they hadn't passed the marijuana initiative hadn't passed yet, but I asked Cape and Cannabis to come and talk to my seniors about alternative medications, non-European medications of how they can sleep and get relief from pain. And then when this happened, I'm not going to lie, I've been a card-carrying member of Normal since I was 14 years old. So I understood what these products could be good for if they were educated on them. And so when they came, it was standing room only, wasn't it?
Yes.
And Raul and his group came in, and T-shirts for everybody. You showed up at Elevated Roots and you said you knew Mary Beth or Lucy, and they gave you a T-shirt. It was just a wonderful way. And his group was able to explain to some of our, and I mean seriously hardcore seniors, that had a very different approach to the way that they see marijuana and how it fits into their life, asking questions about what strain is good, why, how do I take this, when do I take it, what form do I take it in? And so it was really a great day for them to be able to get educated and go down to the facility, which has been a really wonderful member of the Kingston business community. The second one is that I don't even know if I've talked to you about this one yet, but I know you guys at one time had a relationship with Bridgewater State University. And so what I'd like to be able to do is bring Bridgewater State University to Kingston, and they have the senior college. I'm not sure if that's the technical term. Is that their?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I think that's what they call it, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's actually college for seniors. It's, certificate classes or not for accreditation or anything, but it's fun stuff, things that you wish you could have taken when you were going to college back then, but you couldn't because you had the stuff you had to take, right?
The GEDs.
Yeah, that's silly stuff that you just even to this day wonder how you managed. But so we're working with the director over of that particular piece of Bridgewater State University. I've had relationships with them in the past when I was on the Board of Selectmen in Bridgewater, and I found them to be absolutely a wonderful neighbor in Bridgewater as well. Dana Moliferrier, who was the president at that time, when I told him I needed a van for our seniors to drive them, he went into his office and came out with a piece of paper and handed me a check for $55,000 and said, "Here you go."
Good heavens!
So
that doesn't happen every day.
No, but he understood. You give back to the community that gives to you.
Yep.
And he knew that we needed that, and so
Okay.
it was a wonderful.
Let me ask you a
thing.
couple other education things. Do you have seminars come in that help with? How do you work on Medicaid? How do you do your taxes? I mean, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, just like everybody else, we absolutely do. So, we have a Shine counselor. We have AARP comes in to do our taxes. The Brunch and Learn is actually one of those pieces that I bring in my other department heads and other committee members from Kingston to tell our seniors what their department is all about. What's the tax collector do? What does the treasurer do? What's the planning department all about?
Sure.
So my job is really to knock the silos down, as I like to say, and make this a partnership with the town itself, so that our seniors understand that somebody is watching out for them and helping them along in the time that they live there. And a lot of them have lived and raised their kids there. They still don't know what the assessor does.
Yeah. Oh, that's true everywhere.
Right?
Yeah. Now, what about socialization? What kind of programs do you run to help socialization?
You want to help me with that piece? Because you do one of them, I think, that's really wonderful, which is the games on Friday.
Talk about that, Lucy.
On Fridays, we have games, and it's just to get people together.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Mexican Train.
No.
But it's a form of dominoes. Okay. We play left, right, center, which teaches them the left, right, center. It's on cubes. And we play Scrabble. It's just to get them there, get them out, and get them talking to other seniors.
Sure.
We also do the knitting. We have a knitting group, which we don't knit for ourselves as much as we do for the community.
Yep.
And we spread it beyond our own community. Yeah. We do Plymouth, we do the homeless, we do everything.
Yeah.
And we have 22 women who come and sit and knit and crochet, and
men? There's no men in the knitting club?
No, not yet.
What's wrong with these people?
But I'll be honest with you, before COVID, we did have a crafting group, and we had men in it.
Sure.
And it's very hard to get men to admit they're seniors.
Oh, I know.
They do. They do speaking of the socialization, we have a number of hours that are given over to card games, so that the guys are coming in and they're playing, bridge, and they're playing poker, and they're playing canasta, and they're playing you name it.
Well, because
pinochle, and that's their socialization. You can hear them laughing their butts off. Excuse me.
That's
as I'm sitting in my office and they're down the hall, and you can just hear them hooting and hollering back there. So they're having fun.
Now let's talk about how many seniors that you service in Kingston, and how many seniors are there in Kingston? Do you know?
Almost 4,000.
Almost 4. That's over 55.
That are over we call age 60.
Oh,
so
60.
It's age 60. Some
Over 60.
communities, yes.
Okay.
The way that we look at things is, and the majority of communities look at it from age 60 and older.
And you have 47?
Almost 4,000.
Almost 4,000. And how
Yes.
many of those 4,000 actually come in and participate in one way or another in the center?
Well, last month we saw 1,862 people show up for activities at the senior center.
That's wonderful. Are they different people? Or do they come for multiple things?
Everybody comes for something. They may come for more than one event, but we have people that just come for the lunch on Thursday. Or they come just to play bingo after the lunch on Thursday. They won't come for the lunch.
So you have a good percentage of people.
Yes,
that participate.
we're seeing more, because what we're trying to do is, we had a great yard sale last Saturday at the senior center, and one of my reasons for doing it was to make sure that the 40-somethings that comprise the larger amount of the overall population of Kingston understand who we are and what we do. We get those phone calls now, and they're asking, how can we help them help their parents? Because they don't know what to do. So they're asking us for services and phone calls and numbers and everything else. This gave those 40-somethings the chance to walk into our senior center, to be able to see who we are, what we do, and they're going, oh yeah, this is the place where I called to talk to that person about what mom needs, right?
Got it.
So once we do a few things, my goal is to get out. I want to be out of my building.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to in the community.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your funding basically comes mostly from the town, because you have a budget from the town.
It
But
does.
you also can apply for grants.
Absolutely.
And you take advantage of that?
I'm a certified grant writer.
Great.
Yep, and so all of Councils on Aging have the formula grant.
Yep.
But in the past, I've written grants for within the community, for the Community Preservation Committee, for different foundations, a lot of banks, Dunkin' Donuts, Home Depot, Lowe's, foundations.
Great.
I call it low-hanging fruit. A lot of people don't want to bother filling out the paperwork or doing what's necessary for a grant if they're only going to be getting $500 or $1,000. To us, geez, that can
buy a lot.
That can buy an awful lot for
it sure
us.
can.
So that's the low-hanging fruit
Right.
that I'm talking about.
Right.
So I love going after that.
Good for you. And you have a relatively small staff, considering the
do.
amount of people that you service. So
Yes.
volunteers clearly are very important.
Crucial to us, absolutely. Lucy is.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, please. Because we've got a small group and we're mighty, but honestly, if they didn't show up on some days, I don't know what I'd do.
So how long have you been doing volunteering, and about how many hours a week do you do it?
Oh, I'm trying to cut down.
I won't let her.
On my volunteer work.
Yes, only because now I have a great granddaughter.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. I put in, I'd say, a good 4, 5, 6, 8, maybe 7 hours a week.
Yep.
Which is fine with me. But I'm back and forth, so there are a lot of times I'm just there.
And in general, what do you do when you volunteer?
When I volunteer, I work in the kitchen on Thursdays, and which I absolutely love. We serve about 70 people, 75 if not more.
Wow.
I also run a knitting group. I also run the games, and that's what I'm
And the cards, too.
and cards. And it's like I'm there because I love people, and I'm there because I'm one of the lucky seniors that have family.
Talk a little bit more about that. What do you mean by that statement?
There are a lot of seniors there that don't see family. There's a lot of seniors there that are alone. They're alone. And there are a lot of seniors that don't come because they don't realize how easy it is to come. We have wonderful bus drivers. We have a place, they can pick them up, very helpful, get them into the building. I wish to see more seniors come and not be alone in their house. Just because we're old doesn't mean we have to be stagnant.
Right.
And because you're old, don't pull away from people. You can teach people a lot of things that, I love listening to the older generation. I'm old, but I love listening to, we have women there that are veterans, and if you don't talk to them, you don't hear these things, and we have, it's just, get them out of the house, get them socializing, get them feeling good about themselves, get them knowing that they're not the only ones that have a pain here and there and everywhere. And all they need sometimes is a smile. That's all they need is a smile. And that's so easy and it's so inexpensive that, like.
How long have you been volunteering?
2016, only because I didn't think I was old enough to go to the senior center.
Well, you must hear that a lot, right? That people are like, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah, no, they don't think that
I
they're
don't
old
need
enough.
that.
No, I don't need that.
Really.
I'm too young for that.
My daughter would say to me, Ma, come to the senior center, Ma. And I'd go, I'm not old enough yet, But once I got there, I used to have a walking group at one time. I used to have a crafting group at one time. Like I said, I was there a lot. But it's for the social. You get to be a certain age and your friends, sometimes they're not there anymore,
Yeah.
And but that's why I volunteer.
Good for you.
Just for the smile on their faces and let them know that they're cared for.
She feeds them.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell you're just one of those
I don't
people
know,
that
I like
you're
to hug,
welcoming
too.
and warm and I would love to come into a room that you're sitting in. Yeah. Now, do the elected representatives that we have do any volunteer work
As
for
a
you?
matter
Can you talk
of
about
fact,
that?
Yeah. Kim Emberg is the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and she delivers Meals on Wheels for us. It's awesome seeing her walk in because you just, you kind of look up and you go, that's right, I've seen her on TV, but here she is in real person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so it's really awesome to see her there. We've had, at one time, the chairman of the advisory board was also, the vice chair was delivering Meals on Wheels, but he broke his leg, and so he's having trouble getting around. That's part of it. A lot of the services that are being provided are services that are provided by our seniors. It's seniors. It truly is seniors helping seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't Kathy Lenatra come do the
bingo?
Bingo, right?
She does
She's
the
been
bingo.
doing that for years. Yeah.
Absolute
Yeah,
years.
and
She
she's your
comes
state
in.
rep.
Does she come
I
in
think
once
it's
a
every
month?
every third Thursday. I think she's there.
Yeah, she's there. She calls the bingo.
And do the businesses in your community support you in any way, volunteerism or otherwise?
So this is the interesting part about me being me is that I'm.
It's a loaded
I love
statement.
that. No, I love this. This is the part that I've been wanting to get to, but I can't because. So I run the senior center. I run the department. I run the building. I run the volunteers, senior tax write-off people, everything. So trying to get out of there is very difficult. I don't see the sun. I don't have lunch. It's just not what the last year has been like. However, we are hiring an assistant director of elder affairs. That person will be taking over, incorporated within their position, will be the program and activities that were done by a separate person. When I'm not there, the assistant director will be in charge of the building. My time, I'm planning on going out into Kingston and saying, hey there, did you know that the COA is a really vibrant, thriving part of the Kingston fabric? We're old, but we count, we matter, and we show up when it matters. And so I want them to understand, and for me, it's going to be visiting the foundations, the restaurants, the banks, the civic organizations, the schools. One of my partnerships that I had the most fun with, that I'm most proud of, is what I did up in Hamilton with the regional high school up there. We created a program called Generals for Generations. General Patton grew up in Hamilton, and his daughter-in-law still lives there, Mrs. Joanne Patton. What a wonderful woman. And she put me in touch with a couple of the fellas from the Honor Society. And within 15 minutes, after trying for 2 years to get this program going, we had a game plan all written out. He went to the Honor Society in Washington and got them to support what we're doing. And so what would happen is once a week, these seniors from the Honor Society would go to a senior's house for 1 hour every Saturday, and whatever they needed done, they would be doing it. I had one gentleman, one young man that was told to bring his laptop, and all he did for Saturday after Saturday was write down this gentleman's history.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
His life.
Living history is so important.
A living history, what he did, what it was like, and he presented him with the Fire Stick afterwards so that he could have this for something that he could give his family.
Oh,
that's what he
that's
wanted.
great.
He knew he was dying.
Oh,
so it was very important to him. So we made something like that happen. And then I had another sweet little senior. She just wanted her drawers cleaned. Her, where she keeps all of her junk drawers, as she said. She goes,
organized by junk drawer.
She says, they've been like that for 40 years. Can you help me? I went, yeah. You can have some fun here. You'll come in and figure out what you want to keep. So it was whatever they needed to have happen.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. A lot of it was the yard, cleaning up the yard and doing that type of thing, or snow removal or leaves, things like that. But this was, they need to do community service.
Right.
They were giving back within the community. And it was a wonderful intergenerational program for them to get to know the seniors in their community.
Sure. So can you do that with Silver Lake High School?
At the moment, I can't. I need to have a different discussion. I need to have a conversation that I can explain what this is, how it works, and get a little bit of a buy-in.
Because I know high school students have to have
a
certain amount of hours of community service.
I've been told that they don't want them going to private homes.
Well, no, I understand that, but maybe they could come and help in the center.
I don't need them in the center, to be perfectly honest with you. I have Lucy.
Oh, please. You have much more.
You can't say no to more volunteers.
No, I have volunteers, and I'm getting more all the time. We need more volunteers. We're looking for some right now, as a matter of fact.
We have a good group
We do, but we need more Meals on Wheels drivers. FYI, anybody listening?
Interested?
Anybody
we do.
interested?
Every
please let
town
me
needs.
know.
Yeah, that's universal.
But I need in situ. I need a senior, somebody from the high school, understanding that senior can't get that car out of the driveway because there's snow there and they can't handle the snow.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do anything about that snow and they need some help. So I don't need help in the senior center. I've got other volunteers. I do have staff. I do a lot myself. We're good. We can manage this.
Mm-hmm.
My seniors need help at their homes, and that's what I'm hoping to get going here.
Okay.
So I'll figure, you know what? We'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. I
Figure
have
it
faith
out.
in you.
Yes, thank you.
And going forward, aside from that program, what other services do you want to add to the Council of Aging in the future? What are you looking at? What are you missing if you had a magic wand?
Well, we're becoming age and dementia friendly as of July 1st. We're going for the, this is massive. This is a town-wide situation where we're creating a community for seniors, not just for the seniors that live now, although we may be too old to enjoy it down the road, right? We're creating a community for those people up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
This is predicated upon the age and dementia friendly segment is predicated upon the World Health Organization that has 8 different segments, what they call domains of livability. And so things like transportation, socialization, housing, these become crucial issues that towns need to face. How are they going to do this? We have a housing problem in Kingston, as do the majority of the communities in Massachusetts. Right. Transportation is the other second difficult thing to deal with. A lot of us have managed in some way, shape, or form to handle the transportation piece, perhaps not as well as we might be able to, but certainly we haven't been able to do anything on the transportation, on the housing piece.
No.
Can't do it.
That's a huge issue.
That's huge.
That's we could go on for hours about that. Yep.
There's no question in my mind.
Come and sit at the center.
Yeah.
You could go on for hours.
It's just
people
one
that
of
have
those
been
kind
in.
of things.
Yeah, I know. And every
situations.
situation is very different, and it's heartbreaking in a lot of cases.
It is.
You have 44 apartments in Kingston for 4,000 seniors.
Yeah.
But wait,
do the math.
Do the math.
But what's the rent? I had somebody looking into that because she was almost homeless, and it was over $2,000.
Yeah.
Who can afford that?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a huge, massive problem everywhere.
And that's supposed to be low income.
Yeah. Well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's and there's a lot of people working on that
You know,
because
I'm
everyone
sure.
is acutely aware that it's not only for
can't do
seniors,
it.
but it's for young people.
Yep, the
Well,
younger.
the interesting thing is that it's just shifted because the prior governor had senior housing as his, and then just before he left, he changed it to workforce. And so all the money and all the effort that we were putting in homes for over 55 went away, and now it's workforce development, and it's also combo, so that the seniors become the afterthought. They're shoved into a little apartment somewhere that's accessory dwelling unit, an ADU, that maybe 300 square feet. So,
yeah, but I think there are still people that are very, very worried about concentrating on
We
senior
do.
housing.
We do.
I mean, it's definitely has not been dropped.
It hasn't.
It's no.
So to go back, what we're doing is starting July 1st, we have to work on getting the Senior Center national accreditation. I have to work on being accredited as a Senior Center director in Massachusetts this upcoming year. The age and dementia friendly piece that we have to do is determine those. We have to take a snapshot in time, which we do in conjunction with UMass Boston.
Yep.
They do a townwide survey. They have the ability to say, this is where you're at right now. This is what you need to work on.
Yep.
And so that's what we do. And we sit down and then we take those 8 domains and we break it up into 8 committees, and each committee goes
Go do
boom,
it. Yep,
straight
go do
ahead.
it.
How do we do this?
Yep.
What do we need? How do we go after it? How do we make this work?
Right.
And
you
that's
will.
what we're going to do.
You will.
We're going to
no
do
doubt.
this. No
Well,
question.
this has been delightful.
It has been. Thank you for having us.
Yes, Lucy, thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And
you.
we'll see you again, I'm
All
sure.
right. Don't be a stranger. Come visit.
Oh, I shall not
Come
be a
to
stranger.
one of our
Yeah.
lunches.
Huh?
Come to one of our
lunch?
lunches.
Come to a lunch.
Yep, they're homemade.
Ooh, okay. Don't tempt me.
Joyce is making fish eye soup tomorrow.
Oh, I
Thursday.
missed that one. Thank you.
It's not what it sounds like.
It's Portuguese. It's a
okay.
Portuguese soup.
I don't do fish. Okay. Thanks
No,
again.
so thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, everyone.
And this has been Julie Thompson. Until next time.
The Massachusetts Library Collaborative's 50-plus job seekers group meets via Zoom twice each month to network, train, and support mature adult job seekers who are actively looking for work, underemployed, or seeking to change careers. Moderated by Executive Career Coach Deborah Hope, meetings include a presentation, interactive workshop, and guest speakers. The next virtual meeting takes place on September 20th from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. This program is sponsored in collaboration with more than 60 Massachusetts libraries. To register, visit the Duxbury Free Library website. If you have thoughts about expanding your education, you're in luck. In August of this year, Governor Maura Healey launched Mass Reconnect, a new program that will provide free community college for Massachusetts residents 25 years or older. To be eligible, you must have resided in the Commonwealth for at least 1 year, have no previous higher education matriculation, and be enrolled for at least 6 credits per semester. Funds for the Mass Reconnect program are available as of the fall 2023 semester. Learn more about Mass Reconnect at mass.edu. Kingston residents aged 18 through 99 are welcome to join the Kingston Parks and Recreation Adult Co-ed Volleyball Fall Session, running from September through December. Teams are created on a weekly basis, depending on who shows up. This league is strictly for fun, but you'll have a lot of it. The first spike is at 7 p.m. on September 21st at the Kingston Intermediate School Gym. Each game is about 2 hours. Register via the Kingston Parks and Recreation website. The accumulation of stuff in our homes can become oppressive, decrease enjoyment, and be a barrier to cleanliness and emergency services getting into our homes. If this speaks to you, join the Pembroke Council on Aging on Friday, September 29th at 9:30 a.m. for coffee hour and the program Decluttering Your Life. You can't take it with you. This engaging presentation explores the psychological meaning of stuff and offers practical, easy-to-follow tips on decluttering your home and your lives. The hardest part is getting started. Learn how to start, stay organized, and reach your goals. Call the Pembroke Council on Aging to reserve your spot. Tidmarsh turns 5. Celebrate nature and the Tidmarsh Wildlife Sanctuary on September 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The celebration on Beaver Dam Road in Plymouth will include guided walks by skilled teacher naturalists through the sanctuary's diverse habitats, learn about the wildlife and plants that make the sanctuary home, and enjoy other fun activities, food trucks, and community partners who will also be on site showcasing their conservation projects and efforts. For accommodations and questions, please call Tidmarsh at 781-355-6101. Whale and Dolphin Conservation is a global charity dedicated to the protection of our ocean friends, and the North American location is right here in Plymouth, Mass. Here's more.
Hello, I'm Ed Mehegan. I've lived in Plymouth for over 35 years and want to tell you about an organization I support, Whale and Dolphin Conservation, or the WDC. WDC's Green Whale Project educates people about the vital role these animals play in the health of our ocean. Whales, dolphins, and porpoises fertilize the ocean's microscopic plants called phytoplankton. Since the ocean is so vast and there are so many phytoplankton, these tiny plants are estimated to absorb nearly 1/3 of the carbon dioxide we release and produce at least half of the oxygen we breathe. WDC is co-funding 3 research projects which are investigating the role these animals play in fighting climate change by absorbing carbon. The results of this research will allow them to present stronger arguments to protect these animals. Please go to whales.org to learn more and consider adopting a whale to support this important work.
And that's what's good and good to know on the local scene this week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. We are grateful for your attention. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the local scene here and share everywhere. Thank you, friends.